Yo, what's up, people? Here is a technical sparring session with myself and British. British has been training with me now for about 3 or 4 years. It's been on and off because he works on a ship, so he's away for months at a time, and then he'll come back and he'll train with me once or twice a week for the 7, 8 weeks he's around. This is actually our first time sparring. So I'm very just very strict on when I spar with anyone that I train. Regardless of our personal relationship, I make sure that they train with me a sufficient amount of time before we spar. And although the sparring is going to be technical or even just very light, just so that they have a foundation of basics to rely upon, because I move slow, I'm not hitting hard at all, but they'll get tense and they'll do what instinctively comes natural to them if they don't have that foundation of basics. And British is pretty heavy. He's a lot heavier than what he looks, which means he's holding a lot of muscle mass. He's really light on his feet and athletic as well, which he isn't showing right now. But I think sometime during this sparring session, you'll see just how light on his feet he can be. Even just the way he's moving right there. For him to be over 300 pounds, and maybe I'm thinking he's 5'11", 6 feet, he moves pretty well. Although we're going light, there's a few times where like I could just tell, like, yeah, this guy's heavy. Yeah, I told him, hey, you gotta circle more, don't move back so much. He lets that right hand drop too much as well. So here we are, round two. We're just going 3-minute rounds, 30-second rest. It's about a 30-second break. It's probably more like 40, 45 seconds. He's sticking that arm out to block the kick, and he knows that he's doing it. It's not that he's not aware that he's doing it, but it's just a bad habit. And he just got back. He's been gone for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. So this is his first sparring session since he's been gone away. And this is our very first time ever sparring. And I tell him, it's just going to be technical, man. I'm not going to hit you hard or anything like that. So he didn't have to worry about that. But because he was so tense, it will cause him sometimes to hit a little heavier than a technical sparring session would normally be. But I'm not one to complain about anything. I just make sure to keep my hands up and chin down, so if something does get through, I get hit on the head, not on the chin. Right, so when I'm doing those up kicks, I'm kicking his arm because of the way he sticks it out when I throw my kick, because he's not blocking. All right, so here's the third round. And some days my mornings are like this, where I'm meeting someone to train, and it's one of my students or friends that I'm just sparring with to help them just up their level somewhat. Of course, I'm fasted. I haven't eaten anything, and this is just the beginning of my day. Actually, this video will be kind of a a bit of inside an inside video on what my days usually look like, what I do. British is catching the kicks on his arms sometimes, which can be good and not good. Sometimes when he was actually absorbing, I don't want to say catching because you might think that I mean actually catching the kick, but when he was absorbing the kick on his arms, he would counter back, like right there. He would counter back sometimes, and sometimes he wouldn't. I think he felt like he was too far away to throw a kick, but I remember him throwing punches or punching combinations after absorbing my body kick on his arms. I know he trains at another gym with someone else and they do some kickboxing, so some of the stuff that he does is a little unorthodox, but it works. So I don't stop him from doing it. Just because, for the most part, the only bad technique is the one that's not effective. You know what I mean? If it works, then you should do it. There's another reason why I didn't want him to keep backing up. It becomes unrealistic to use this much of the mat, you know? So that's something that we'll focus on next week. We'll meet every Monday until he leaves. That's what I'm thinking anyway, because he's been wanting to meet on Mondays. So we'll meet, and I'll make sure that he's circling more. I'll tell him during the sparring to circle. But all in all, he did good. He did good. He's just got to circle more. He'll be a lot better off. He caught me with that Superman punch unexpected. British and I, we went about 10, 12 rounds this day. I usually go 10 to 15 rounds with anybody that I'm sparring with. Like I said, they're technical rounds, but they're still tiring just because you need to react to what I'm doing. It's not like hitting the pads where it's a lot of offense and not very much defending what's being thrown. Because you're sparring, you want to make sure you defend and you attack, and then you gotta move around and just things like that take more energy. He's got to put his hands up, keep his chin down. He likes that side kick. That side kick is a great technique. In most martial arts, it's a very basic technique. It's not used very often, but it's very effective. Yeah, he's moving back a lot again. He likes to turn to the left to fight left-handed, but he's got to practice that. You know, he's got to do it on the pads. He's got to be able to follow all commands properly from that stance, and then you move on to hitting the heavy bag and then sparring. We've worked on his left hand before, but I don't think he really continued to do it on his own. So now I'm at the gym for my high rep workout. A high rep training session where I'll focus on doing anywhere from 25 to 50 reps. This is a warm up set. It'll be 50 repetitions. After my ruck, I went back, got some electrolytes, some amino acids, and now I'm at the gym. Face tracking is on the camera, so it's going up and down with me as I go up and down. Alright, like I said, this is a high rep training session. So I'm just focusing on getting as many reps as I can, or not as many as I can, but just a high number that is going to really work my lungs while exhausting the muscle group that I'm working, that muscle group being legs. I'm only going to do 25 reps per set on the squats with a plate on each side. But I might do 50 reps the next time I do this type of training. So this is the second working set. On high rep days, which I do this 1 week out of every month for every body part. On high rep days, I only do 3 sets versus doing 4. I mean, sometimes I'll do 4 to 6 when I'm going heavy. But because endurance exercise is the most damaging exercise just to the body as far as the organs, the muscles, even bones, even though with weights, the bones don't get affected in a bad way. If anything, the bones get affected in a great way with weights. But because of that, that's why I only do 3 sets. So this is the third working set. I like to work a full range of motion. I'm getting down to parallel here, but usually I'll go lower. I don't know if because of the sparring from earlier, and then I got cold, and after that I did my ruck, and then I got cold again. I don't know if my mobility and flexibility is just not the way it would normally be because of all the activity I've had earlier, or I did earlier. I don't know if that's causing a lack of flexibility or not. But usually I'm down a bit lower, a few inches lower than that. But that isn't bad. That's parallel for the most part. Alright, off to the next exercise. So heading to the leg extension machine. As some of you might know, leg extensions are a machine that is focused on the quadricep muscle, or muscles of the quadricep, because there's 3 different muscles in the quadricep, if I'm not mistaken. Most people focus on the teardrop, and me, I just focus on all of them because when I kick, they're all being used. Alright, so I'll get set up and I'll get started. So I'm set up now in the machine. I really focus on contracting my quadriceps as much as I can, especially when I'm doing heavier weight. But even when I'm doing lightweight, I'm going to squeeze at the end of some of those reps and focus on that contraction to help define the muscles as much as possible. I mean, I'm a fighter, of course. I have to have strength and power, explosiveness, but I want to be as muscular as I can be within reason. Muscular meaning just defined, toned, with good muscle shape, not just big and smooth. Alright, second set. I don't like moving that fast during the reps. And don't get me wrong, some reps I do explosively, or some sets I'll do explosively. But because I know I have to do 25 reps per set, and I got 50 pounds on each leg, I'm moving a little faster than I prefer. Alright, so this will be the last set. Just catching my breath. Whether I'm doing lightweight or high reps, my heart rate goes up quite a bit. There's something that I'm not talking about right now, but I will be talking about it very soon. I think I mentioned it in one of my last videos, but that is something I'm definitely thinking about while on that machine. Alright, so now some lying hamstring curls. I do my best to do everything on single leg, whether I'm doing pistol squats, shrimp squats, leg extensions, hamstring curls. I like to make sure that each leg works on its own. So I'm not going to show all 3 sets of this exercise. There's some sand on my leg from my ruck a bit earlier. The weights are really light, so that's going to force me to control it a bit more. And the reason why I have the weight so much lighter on the hamstring curl machine is because, not only because your quadriceps are supposed to be 25% stronger than your hamstrings, but also last year I had 2 tears in my left hamstring, and I haven't gotten it taken care of yet. It's gotten a lot better, because before I couldn't even move my leg up like that for a long time. But I gotta get the adhesions out of it that have formed while it healed. So until I do that, I'll still be having a little bit of trouble with it, but for the most part, it's okay. Still can't run, but it's a lot better. So here I'm just stretching out after doing 3 sets of the hamstring curls. They're really pumped up, really tight. So I'm just going to loosen up my hamstrings and calves a little bit. And then I'm going to do something that I like to do for my feet, my knees, my quads, and a little bit of hips. You might have seen this before, I don't know. I've never seen it before, but it was something that felt right. So I make sure to do it. So it's not a sissy squat. I'm not really doing it for my quads. I'm doing it more so for my knee strength and my feet, my toe flexibility, mobility, and the strength in my feet as well. Alright, now I'm on the soleus calf machine. And like I say, I do everything that I can single leg. Of course, calves, whether seated or standing, I do them single leg. And here I just put 45-pound plate on and I just go for reps since it's high rep day. My right leg and right side of my body is the side that has a lot of damage on it from just a past incident. So my right, everything on my right side of my body isn't as developed as the left side. Just repping out on the left calf now. And I did 3 sets of these, 25 reps per side. I'm just gonna stretch them out really good. That feels good on my feet too. Since I'm on my feet so much and I haven't had a massage in months, my feet get really sore when I'm doing calf raises. Even when I'm moving around a lot, I just need a massage and to really, I guess, get all the inflammation and stuff like that out of my feet. Alright, now I'm just going to stretch it out. Stretch everything out so I can do it all again the next day. Or at least do something else that I got to do. But I meet 2 to 3 clients per week for sparring. Yeah, 2 to 3. And they enjoy it. They learn from it. And I enjoy just knowing that they're learning from me, you know. But hey, I'm going to let you all finish checking out my day. Hey, take and use whatever you can. And I will hopefully see you here next time. God bless.